He couldn't even finish it. He couldn't go through with it.
Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Max.
I'm Henry Hippo.
And this is episode 87. We're doing an anime special. We watched some animes and we're going to talk about them. What do you guys think about anime?
I mean,
pretty great.
I mean, yeah. I used to be like proper weeaboo-ish back in the day.
I bet you did.
Not so much anymore now, though.
No, kind of died off.
Yeah, a little bit. I think a lot of it came down to I just can't,
the weeaboo extinction
can't watch anything, and yeah, like
of 2012, when all your kind were gassed. Did you guys know that Spirited Away was released 21 years ago today in Japan as we're speaking?
Oh shit. Yeah, that's cool. Very fitting.
Yeah. Shame we're not talking about that movie because that film's great.
That might be my favourite animes.
Yeah, same.
You fucking normie.
Have you ever spoken about it already? I thought you had.
No.
Oh,
nah.
Shame. For shame.
And we never will.
Apparently not.
What's to talk about? It is good. Everyone knows it's fucking good.
Yeah, it's true. Anyone who's ever seen it knows it's good.
Yeah, in my late teens I got really into anime, like especially like the shows like Cowboy Bebop and Full Metal Alchemist. I'm a big fan of both of those shows.
I was more of a manga kind of person. I used to read the books. I know, hilariously, I actually used to read.
Not anymore though.
Nope, not a fucking chance.
Forgotten how to read.
The patience to read more like, but
Forgotten how to write. Forgotten what words are entirely.
I tried to read manga, but it really threw me off because it's all like you read it backwards, basically.
What
so
the fuck?
Yeah, you read it from right to left rather than left to right.
I can barely read left to right as it is.
I just find it really confusing. I tried to read the mangas for Full Metal Alchemist. I think I read like 1 or 2 volumes, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's really confusing me.
Yeah, there was like a book series that I was obsessed with in like my pre-teens or whatever, and that's basically one of the reasons why I guess I can read like either way, because I was just obsessed with them. I used to read them all the time. But it's not even that hard to read. It's just like there's like certain formats that you have to follow, because obviously like it's a bit like a comic, like the boxes are like different sizes and stuff, so there are certain bits where you have to like follow down, or you have to like read from like one end and then you just go straight to the bottom or across. I can see why it's annoying, because it can be annoying.
Yeah, it's a little bit too convoluted.
It can be.
What's your thoughts on anime, Max?
It's alright. It's just it's Japanese animation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I stopped watching it like
My thoughts on anime.
4 years ago.
It's like asking what my thoughts are on Western cinema. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it just exists,
It is
yeah.
case by case basis.
For any genre or form of like media, there's good stuff, there's bad stuff.
Yeah.
There's in between.
I used to watch a show called Yuri, which I found out is actually there's categories of like Yuri and something else, and it's basically like gay and lesbian, and I had no idea.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah, it was like it disguises itself as just like one of those like coming of age shows where like girls are in a high school or whatever, and it's not like overtly gay or anything, but apparently it's like subtly gay, and I was like, oh, okay, because there's a lot of that in like anime, because I don't think they overtly like go into those kind of themes that often. I don't know why.
There are no gays in Japan. You see the video where that guy's
gay.
like, there are no gays in Ireland. He's like screaming it. Oh, it's so funny.
The same principle applies.
I mean, we could have talked about some other things, but I don't think you guys have seen anything. You guys watched Stranger Things season 4?
Chris has been watching it.
Yeah, I've not finished it yet. I've got like an episode and a half to do.
So that's
surface level thoughts.
It's good. There were like a few episodes I really loved, but I've kind of, as it's been going on, been losing interest slightly. I do think it's really good.
Isn't it just
still.
because it's like every episode is like 3 movies long or something?
Yeah, it's like every episode is feature length, and then they waited like a month to release the second part of the 4th season. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that again."
I don't think I could watch it. I think it's just too long. I can't hack
I've heard a lot of really mixed things about the second volume. I think a lot of people don't like it as much as the first.
Oh,
I watched
really?
that all in one night, and I didn't mean to, but I did it.
What one of the volumes or like the whole?
The second volume.
I was gonna say, bloody hell.
Like what, 3.5 hours long or something?
Oh, what?
Maybe more.
Oh, what? Just that last bit?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like 4 hours, I think, because
It's like 4 hours.
one's
Is it
like an hour and a half, the other one's 2.5.
So watching an elephant sitting still or some shit. It's really fucking long.
Yeah, no, I thought you were gonna say it was like, I don't know, 4 episodes or something. I was like, God, that's quite a long time.
Yeah,
It's not actually that long then, is it?
This season peaked when it had like when you were finding out all about the guy who was like framed into like it was made to seem like he killed his whole family.
What, Robert Englund?
Yeah, Robert Englund. It was pretty cool to see him. And then obviously you got the whole running up the hill thing with Max floating into the air while she's like using music to defeat him. That was really great.
Yeah.
And then since then,
that's
now everyone sings running up that hill.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, "Oh, isn't that such a good song?"
It's like been ultimately memed and TikTok.
Fucking sick of it now. Even though it's a really great song.
It's a great song.
Love Kate Bush.
I don't.
Yeah, it made me listen to.
I do. I fucking love Kate Bush.
It made me listen to the album Hounds of Love that it's on.
Hounds of Love
really
is
great.
one of the greatest songs
Hounds of Love's
ever.
a fantastic song. That whole album is so good. It's like really weird and experimental.
Yeah.
I will give her Hounds of Love. I do like that one.
It made me listen to her first album, which is great. I don't know what it's called. It's Yellow, I think.
What's the one with Babushka on it?
I fucking hate that song.
That song slaps, bro. I can't believe you hate that. There's a video, a long lost video of my mum singing that song, just like sat in a chair.
What, Babushka?
Yeah, seared into my memory.
To be fair, if my mum had done that, I think it'd be seared into my memory.
It's shot like a Hanukkah movie. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I finished it. I really liked it. I think it's the best season so far. Probably. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I really like it. Even though I feel like they could have just stopped after season 1. And then the next 2 seasons kind of sucked. I don't remember the second or third season at all, really.
I didn't finish the second because I didn't like it.
I liked the third season, but the second one was really bad.
Yeah, that's why I stopped watching it. I got 3/4 of the way through the second season and I said, this show's dog shit, and I stopped watching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fourth season's good. I feel like you just pick it up. You're like, yeah, all right. I feel like they do a recap at like the beginning, so why not?
There's like
could just not watch
official
that.
Netflix YouTube channel. I think they've got like 10-minute recaps of season 2 and 3, so you could just watch them.
Do that.
Oh, what, instead of watching the seasons? I feel like that was probably like more like something up my alley because like who can be bothered to watch them again?
The kill counts.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could watch the kill counts. Why did I never think of that?
I do that a lot for shows that I just haven't picked up in a long time. I'm like, fuck, what was that? I did that with Dark. I didn't watch season 2 for a very long time after I finished season 1. Then I picked it up again. It's a really good show. Everybody should watch Dark.
I've never heard of it, I don't think.
Although I feel like I heard it falls off from the 3rd season. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like the Fall type situation where I just don't watch season 3. I don't know. We'll see.
We haven't gotten there yet.
What else came out? The Boys? You watched The Boys season 3?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's good.
I'm really looking forward to it. As soon as I finish Stranger Things, I'm going straight onto that.
I bought you a whole extra month of Prime so you could watch that.
I'm going to have to catch up. Yeah, I was really getting into it, but I was watching it when I moved back home, and my mum hated it. She was like, it's too violent. There's too many swearings in it. And I'm like,
well, it's not a mum show, is it?
No, but I was watching it with me and my dad were watching it, and my mum was just happened to be in the room, and me and my dad were like, "Oh God, this show's great,"
Yeah,
and then my mum was like, "No,
it's a dad show."
It's definitely a
my dad
show.
loves it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so is mine. It's a dad show. It's a dad show. Yeah. That's it. Nothing else has come out though. Fucking nothing. Nothing's in the cinema except for Minions: Rise of the more Minions and
The Thor one.
Thor. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Got Elvis as well, but I don't think any of us have any interest in that.
No, I don't care.
No.
Actually, no, I kind of do, but
no,
not enough to go see
we
it.
were gonna. Well, we did like debate going to see it, but then I think at the last minute we were like, oh, "Do we? No." I'd rather like just torrent it or something.
Top Gun's still making billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, but I've heard
nice.
it's actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't comment, but you know.
I don't know. It's the kind of movie I feel like I'd probably like, but yeah, whatever. Not enough to sit through 2.5 hours of it in the cinema.
Yeah, once again,
you
I'd
can
probably
wait till it
torrent
comes
it,
out
you know?
on streaming or something.
Won't even do that, mate. Can't be bothered.
I love that. You guys like stream. I'm just like torrent it.
Nah, you gotta, well, not pay for it, but something.
Yeah. I guess it depends on
I just don't like torrenting things.
what it comes out on or
Quality sucks and
whatever.
it's fucking long-winded. Don't like it.
A lot of the time, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
But then I don't remember the last time I actually did that with a movie. Like, I actually cannot remember. It might have been Martyrs.
Was
maybe.
it X? When we watched X?
Oh, does that really count though? When
Because we did it together.
yeah, my own separate illegal activities.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh well, I forgot about that as well.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
We'll forgot about everything. Speaking of movies that we forgot, let's talk about some anime.
Yeah, sure.
We picked Tokyo Godfathers, Whisper of the Heart, and The Cat Returns again.
I like how
you said
he
you
forgot. Yeah, did you use like films we forgot, and then Max was like, "Shit, what the fuck was that film?"
Yeah, I had to remember them off by heart, even though they're like written right next to me. Okay, yeah, Chris chose the first one. What was it?
Yes, so I picked the 2003 film Tokyo Godfathers by Satoshi Kon. We reviewed his film Paprika like a couple years back when we were in lockdown.
That was ages ago, baby.
I think it was like, I don't think any of us really liked it that much.
It was fine.
Yeah, I think that was like the general
Had
consensus.
some good ideas.
I think I watched it twice for that episode because I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, I wanted to pick it, but it was not of a
He has a movie called Perfect Blue, which I wanted to pick, but it's not available anywhere, which is a really great movie.
That film is great.
So instead I picked Tokyo Godfathers because it was on Netflix.
Yeah, but Perfect Blue is basically Black Swan.
Yeah.
Basically.
Pretty much.
This guy just makes movies that other people go, I could do that, and then you make it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Tokyo Godfathers, it's about 3 homeless people who on Christmas Eve find a baby just in the trash, and then they decide to try and find the baby's parents and return it to them. It's the plot of Ice Age.
It is literally the plot of Ice Age. Wait, what did I say it was? 3 men and a baby.
3 men and a baby.
The plot of a lot of things you've seen done before.
Yeah, it's not very original, is it? I suppose.
I like when like the first shot of it is just the shot of the baby, and it's like the ugliest fucking baby you've ever seen in your life. It looks disgusting.
I think all of the animation looks kind of hideous.
Trashy.
Yeah, all the characters look awful.
Yeah, they look
but
grim.
I kind of like that about them, to be fair.
I think they're kind of meant to look gross.
They're like very striking. They're kind of ugly. They're like the sort of designs that you do see in other animes, and they'd be like the side characters or like characters you see in one scene, but instead they're the main characters of the movie.
Yeah. I do stuff with this baby. And
That
one...
sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah. The other woman who really wants the baby, she's really annoying. She's like, I think she's like a trans woman who's like, I gotta have, this is my baby and it's a
Miss
sign
Hannah.
from God. Yeah, Hannah. So it's a sign from God, this baby is an angel and it's mine now. Why? Why do you think you can do this? I didn't like this movie all that much, honestly. I guess I just don't like what this guy does. And Perfect Blue probably sucks too.
I wish you picked that instead, to be honest.
It's just annoying. It's just annoying as shit.
I said
to
it was
get
boring.
Through. It's boring and it's annoying. It's trying to be a comedy, but it's not fucking funny. It's like, they make jokes and it's like, well, what's the point? Like, what is it like? When it cuts to like the credits, like right at the beginning, the title credits, like Hannah goes, "Oh, it's a baby. We found it in the trash. It's our trash baby. She could be our baby." And it's like really over the top, and then it like cuts to the credits, and it's like, ha ha, la 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 la. It's really goofy, and that was when I was like, "Oh, okay, this is like a comedy or something." And that joke didn't really get me, but maybe it'll develop over time, and it'll make me laugh. But it didn't ever make me laugh.
No, do you know what I found like to be the most offensive thing about this movie? Right, it is 1 hour and 31 minutes, but it felt so long. Like, I turned to Chris at one point and went, "How much longer is there?" And he goes, 40 minutes. And I just thought, I'm going to fucking yeet myself. I've never been so bored by a movie in my whole life. And I actually I think that's a feat, actually. I think that is quite the statement for me to make.
And maybe it's because it's the heat of the sun everywhere in the UK right now, but I just didn't want to watch any of these movies at all.
Neither did I. I was saying to Chris, I really just don't want to do this. Like, we just picked a terrible week to pick.
Do you think that
movies
might have like soured your opinions of all the movies?
It soured mine a little bit, I'll be honest.
Watching them.
Yes, of course. That's what I'll say, top level going into it. So yeah, keep that in mind. But also just, I don't know, probably wouldn't have enjoyed this anyway. I do think it gets better in the third act.
Yeah, I was going to say the last 10 minutes is the best.
And then like it's fine, but for the rest of it, it's like a massive slog. I just didn't care at all.
It's also, I couldn't get past the fact that everyone just kept shouting. I was like, why is everyone screaming at each other?
I do like these characters.
No,
they all just scream at each other, and it's like, oh, this is annoying. I don't want to be screamed at.
Yeah, like you got character of Hannah who is really, really annoying.
They're all annoying.
Jin constantly is using homophobic slurs to refer to her. Yeah, homophobic. And then you got the character Mayuki, who just like doesn't really have any personality at all.
She doesn't do anything. She gets like, she goes to a place with like a Spanish woman. Like a Mexican woman.
Oh yeah, with the babies. Yeah.
And they were like, I guess I'll be here for a bit, and then they leave. Oh, okay.
Yeah, some of it was just really weird. Like, it just felt like there was things like happening, but like to what ends? Like, what did it mean? Like, what was any of it supposed to be about? Like, I actually didn't mind that bit where they go back to the I don't know, that like drag club or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like talking about like why Hannah left or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then once again it goes back to, God, look at this raging faggot, and I'm like, oh, here we fucking go again.
I mean, it's not about nothing. I just like about homeless people and their issues and how we see homeless people, like the stigmas you put against homeless people, I guess.
Oh yeah, like I was more referring to the bits with like where they were just like in random places that like it didn't really go anywhere. Like like these random babies, and I like the bit where she's like, big breasts, cool. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just like, what is?
That was cool.
I don't know. I just kept thinking, oh, why am I watching this?
I think this film does have a lot going for it, at least for me. I like a lot of the themes of like family and guilt and redemption that they're like discussing throughout the movie. The third act I really, really enjoyed. It goes into a much more like emotional sort of side there, kind of like exploring these characters a bit more, exploring their family lives and kind of what led them to be where they are, and kind of like this whole redemption arc of them saving this baby and taking it back, trying to take it back to his real family, almost like viewing the mistakes that they've made as this kind of like making that all better. I really enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, like they could have, I don't know, I felt like I really liked that last 15 minutes or so, but everything else I was like, oh my God. Because I was thinking, oh God, I really wish I wasn't watching this. And then, it got to like the last 15 minutes and I thought, oh, okay, like I'm actually like getting into this now. This is actually like something. And then it just ends and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for me, the ending kind of saved the movie. But
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was like, for me, it was like unbearable up until the last 15 minutes. And then I was like, oh, okay.
There was never a point where I found it unbearable, but there was definitely quite a few points where I was like, I don't really understand what the purpose of this is. And it might just be me completely missing what he was trying to go for. But yeah, a lot of the movie, I wasn't really getting anything from it.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot from like the homeless stuff, and they say like, there's a line someone says like, I can go back to my home anytime, and somebody else says, it's always the ones who say that who never do. And I guess it was about like people being homeless out of their own volition. Like, a lot of people were homeless just because they don't want to live where they currently live, and like, that's just a better option for them.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like that girl was doing.
That's what they feel like is a better option for them. When a lot of them can like just go home like easily.
Yeah, like
and
when
that's what we see with like Hannah, who like goes to like the place she used to work, and everyone's like, Hannah, where the fuck have you been? Like, we missed you. And she's like, oh, it's just, I've been around. It's like, you could have just gone back at any time.
Yeah, but like that applies to like two-thirds of them, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like Jin, who like ran out on his family because of his debts and became homeless after that. He like probably could have like easily gone back to his family. Like, he meets his daughter towards the end, who kind of just says that she was looking for him for years with her mum and just couldn't find her.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was nice, I guess.
Yeah, I really
It was a
liked
nice
that
through
scene.
line for him. Like when he got beat up in the alley, his kids like just beat the shit out of him. I quite like that. He like finds himself as an old man, like dying in an alley, and then he watches himself die.
Yeah, that was fucking
And like
crazy.
some kids come over, beat him up, and then they drag the man's corpse out, beat that corpse up. Like fucking what the fuck?
Yeah, so it sounds
was
about right, innit?
crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, but I think it could have been like, oh, that wasn't him. It was just an old guy, but he was like wearing the exact same clothes. So I feel like it was him. It was like, oh, this is like the path you tread. You know?
Yeah.
This is what will happen.
Yeah, I got that from it.
End up being beaten up by some kids in a ramshackle tent that you make from trousers.
Saying that, how, like, I know they were homeless, but, like, didn't their setup in the beginning look quite cushy for homeless people? Like, you know, they had their own stove and pans and stuff. Like, they were
Yeah.
living in, like, this, like, kitted out tent, but it wasn't really a tent. It was more like a...
These
I
people
don't
were
know.
just fucking glamping.
That's what it actually looked like, glamping, rather than, like, them being homeless.
They weren't in
But-
a house though.
No,
Or even,
but I
like, they
mean...
weren't in a house or a flat or anything.
No, but it looked
were
marginally
in, like, a
better than, like,
tent.
living in a box or something.
I suppose.
I don't know. It just looked more like, I don't know. It looked more like homely to me, and then like, yeah, say like someone who's actually like living in a
Mm-hmm.
tent with like holes in it and shit. Like, I was like, oh, actually doesn't look too bad a setup. Like, if I had to sleep there for the night, I wouldn't complain. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, a lot of people who are like, homeless, I guess they don't actually sleep on the streets. They're like got places to go, but it's like they don't have a place of their own.
Yeah, like
Right.
no fixed
They have no
dress is
home.
what they call it
Yeah.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And that's quite sad, you know. You see all these people like on the streets.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so,
To be
like-
fair.
It's quite upsetting. I don't know that this movie did enough for me to like capture just how like dour that could be for a person though. Maybe I would have liked
Yeah.
it to not go
No, it
for like
didn't-
the comedy angle because the comedy wasn't working for me.
Yeah, it didn't feel that sad, if I'm honest.
Did you laugh, Chris? Do you find it funny?
I don't think so, no.
Mm.
That's funny because it's like
I think
it's
there might have been
really
a couple
going
of
for it.
chuckles, but
Yeah.
like nothing properly.
It's really going for a comedy. It really is. But
I think maybe they thought it'd be too depressing if they made it like that.
Yeah,
But then they
fucking
might,
hell,
didn't they? Yeah,
you
just
not
do
seen
it.
like
Yeah.
what was that movie? Grave of the Fireflies. That movie's
Ju-
just so fucking sad.
Oh.
It never lets up. Like just do that. You know?
Don't you ever mention that film again?
Yeah, I mean, the bits I liked the most in the film were when it was like going like darker and being more upsetting and stepping away
Just
from
had
the
more
humor.
to say though, didn't it? Really, I don't know. I'm not getting much from. Ha ha ha! We're homeless. Ha ha ha! It's like
Yeah,
it doesn't
especially
have to be funny, you know.
I don't think I would have had as much a problem with the comedy not being as good if I actually liked the characters.
Or if it
that
was
doesn't
actually
help.
funny.
Well, they do a lot of like exaggerated expressions for the characters when they're like getting mad or whatever. And that was like a better part for me. Where like they kind of flexed on the animation a bit, but for the most part, they didn't really try to do that all that much. Where it was like very expressive or exaggerated.
I
It was
guess
mostly when people got mad.
that is something that you can get away with in animation, though. Is like if I don't know, like Hannah, for example, every time they were doing something, I don't know, like the way that their faces move and stuff is just like, oh, okay, yeah, like you can get away with that kind of thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Mhm.
it's whatever.
Was that goofy fucking music that was playing when they were chasing that woman who like stole the baby? It was like a kids show or something. It was like
Yeah, the
I
music
don't even
was really
remember.
weird.
stolen a baby. She was like about to commit suicide. Then they gave her a baby, and then she like stole it. It wasn't even hers. And, and then they're like, get that woman. Like fucking hell.
Yeah, like was that meant to be funny, or was that just like a bad choice of music?
I just
literally
feel like they didn't know how to balance it.
I don't have
that
a
well.
clue. Yeah, I don't really have. I just don't really have anything to say about this movie. If I'm really, really honest, like I say that quite a lot on this podcast, but today I really mean it.
Did you like when Miyuki gets like kidnapped, and then like they're at that party, but like she like gets taken hostage, and then like the guy shoots a gun like right next to her head, like to shoot this guy, and she's like that was rude of you, and like nothing happened to her. Like she should have gone deaf, or like something that should have happened to her here. Like whatever. No, don't even play with that at all. It doesn't matter. I guess you can get away with that sort of in like an animated movie, but it's like
Yeah, that's true.
all right. Even in like live action, they never adhere to it. You know? Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, I also don't really have much to
I've got
say about it.
I've got nothing. I'm so
like
sorry.
a French kind of vibe, Frenchy kind of vibe with it, which is strange because it was like Tokyo Godfathers. It was like set in Tokyo. It was like this accordion music playing a lot.
Yeah, I felt like that drug club
kind of
didn't feel very like,
sounding music to it. It was quite confusing. You don't have to go for like traditional Japanese music, but it's like, well,
didn't have to go for traditional
what's the vibe?
European
You know, what
either.
vibe
Yeah.
are you trying to cultivate? Is it something more French? Is it like a upsetting, dour look at the state of homelessness in Tokyo? Is it like a comedy where like three men and a little lady or some shit? You know, what is it? I don't know, but I didn't like it all that much. Studio ratings then?
Yeah, fuck it. I've got nothing to say. What do you want to rate it out of, Chris?
You all right?
Homophobics.
All right. It's really racist of you, but okay.
Racist? Okay.
What? This podcast is a mess.
Yeah, I didn't hate this movie. There were bits I did really like about it, bits I got quite a bit out of. Like I said, the third act really saved the movie for me, because like before that I wasn't super into it. Maybe I'd give it another go, see if it does anything more on a second viewing. But for now, I'll probably give it like a low 7, high 6 homophobics out of 10. It's kind of like on the border there.
Yeah. I don't want to say what you just said, but I guess I have to. Yeah, it wasn't that great. Yeah, I don't know. I would be interested in seeing Perfect Blue. See if that redeems this man in my eyes, but at the moment I'm just not really enjoying it. Quite dirty, grimy movie, bit of a chore to sit through. It had its moments, but ultimately it felt a bit too confused. So probably give it a 5 homophobics out of 10. Just awful, just an awful rating you got there. Didn't like saying that at all.
It is a little bit, to be honest, Chris. Yeah, I wish you'd pick Perfect Blue instead. Low 6, homophobes.
Well, if it was available anywhere, then I would, but it's not.
Yeah, but you've downloaded movies so many times, you could have just done it again.
Well, we didn't watch them together, so...
Well,
It's true.
that, whether I could have emailed a file over to my
I'll save it for a time when we're together.
Gotta shop me an email or something.
It's a good film. Way better than this one. Max did a film.
We watched the one that I recommended. Whisper of the Heart came out the other day.
The other day.
1995. It's a Japanese movie. It's directed by Yoshifumi Kondo. It was distributed by Disney. And it's about Shizuku, who's a kind of she's a school. She's a school. She's an aspiring writer, and she meets this boy called Seiji, and he wants to become a master luthier, some guy who makes violins. You know, he's really good at it, so he wants to make it a go of it. And it's about them falling in love and kind of trying to work on their own projects separately. It's very loose with its plot. There's not a lot going on in terms of like the plot.
I think Max's explanation of this is loose.
It is loose. Oh, I'm like, how am I going to describe what this movie's about? Because like pretty much nothing happens for the first half of it, and then like she meets a guy and falls in love, and then they're like, I guess we're just going to do our own thing, and then that's like that.
It's just vibes.
Yeah, like it's really, it's really fucking long for something that doesn't have a lot happening in the first hour or whatever.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I didn't realise I've forgotten how long it actually was until like Chris paused it to go get a drink or something. I was like, fucking hell, there's like an hour and a half.
I got like half an hour in and I was like, what's this movie about? And I like Googled it. I'm like, none of this has happened yet.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's like a slow burn, I think.
Yeah.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong.
Concrete
Plays a
roads.
lot. Concrete roads take me home to the concrete jungle I belong. I picked this movie because I saw that Darcie hated it with every inch of her being. I thought, wow, that's interesting. We'll pick that then and see what, because it had a really high rating. I was like, I wonder what's going on here. So I guess most of the reason I picked this is because Darcie hated it. And I wanted to know why.
There's only one reason, and it's that fucking song. I hate it so much.
Jesus Christ.
No, but okay. So I mean, I did have a few things stacked up against me, like the song that played a million times, and I watched it in English, and that is always the biggest faux pas you can make with any Japanese or actually any
foreign movie.
Yeah. Don't ever watch them with an English dub.
No.
They suck. They really do suck. Because I liked it quite a bit more when I didn't watch it in English, and I think
Of course you did.
that's a precedent that I kind of follow, though. I don't watch films in English if they're not already in English, because I think it's just janky, and it doesn't translate well, and a lot of the time it's just...
I mean, you wouldn't watch
It's not right.
Indiana Jones in fucking Japanese, would you?
Well, you would if you had to, I guess. Like, if
I
you
would
didn't have the
never have to.
subtitles, well, I guess if you had to, you would. But I didn't have a reason to watch it. It was just whoever I had watched it with wanted to watch it in English, and I hate that. I'm like a purist. I'm like, stick it on in Japanese and fucking read. Grow up. Like,
People don't want to read movies, Darcie.
I
They want
know.
to watch movies.
I know. I learnt that from Parasite.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, because in a few years that'll get an American remake, and then we won't have to read it anymore.
Yeah, there's one in the works, I think.
No,
Nice,
there
nice.
isn't.
Yes, there is, yes.
Oh my god.
With Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Is Kevin James in it by any chance? That'd be great, actually. Like, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
No, that's literally like the only gripe that I really had with this movie, and
Yeah.
also that it was like really long. But that's just another thing that I just do. But
It was really long.
it was that fucking country. I don't like the song anyway, so to hear it over and over and over again is really annoying. It was a bit like it was like The Fucking Graduate all over again, but like
Mhm.
not as bad.
I feel like The Graduate was way worse.
Oh yeah, no,
Way
that's what I mean.
worse
The
for
Graduate
that.
was way
Yeah.
worse because it was
This
like almost
I don't even
intolerable.
think that Country Roads pissed me off really.
Oh
Well,
no,
much, at all.
No, but so I was talking to Chris about this, like when we were watching it. I was like, why is this girl who's like, writing the lyrics to like a Concrete Road, Country Road, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? This not her. That song already exists. Why is
Yeah.
she saying it like she's written
like
this
I've
song
written
from
it.
It's
scratch?
like a parody version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
that's not
why,
your fucking song, is it? You just like change words a little bit. That's not that's not
why
a
there
new
was
song.
that like scene where she's like singing along to it while what's his name, Saiji?
was playing the violin
How
or
you
Oh,
pronounce
you
whatever.
tell me, Chris, you watched this movie twice.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was
That
how
is
you pronounce it.
I thought it was.
Savey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
was
don't
obviously
know.
playing violin, and then all of his
'cause
his like
he knows it
granddad
off by
and
heart.
his friends walked in and started joining in.
Oh
So
Best part
no!
of the
knew
movie.
song.
That
That was a great scene.
Best part of the movie.
No,
I fucking
can't.
love that.
I still can't stand. It was more tolerable in Japanese because it wasn't as like obnoxious, but I still hate it. I hate that song already,
Nah,
so I didn't enjoy that. Does that make sense? Like if you had
Yeah.
a song you really didn't like,
Sure.
and it was like a main implement
I
of
don't
the
like that
film.
song, but I really like how it was used in this film.
I just love like the old men come home, and it was like a summer romance type thing, and they're like playing it in the basement, and the old men come home, and they're like, "Oh, let's join in." And they get all their instruments, and they fucking start playing together. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
my, this is lovely.
I mean-
this is so nice."
That felt to me a bit like, I don't know, it felt like a Coco moment or something. That wasn't so bad. It was just like everything else. But then after that, like the film's fine. Like if you had taken out all the stupid Country Road shit, I think I would have been okay with this film, to be honest. But I still didn't connect with it in a way that I felt like a lot of people did. Like a lot of people were like, oh, this is like so wholesome and great. And sure, it is wholesome, but like I'm not feeling that like deep love. Like I came out from the bath yesterday and I caught Chris in
Oh, yeah.
tears. Chris was in tears, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Of course
He
he
goes,
was.
"I wasn't paying attention the first time. It's so sad." And I was just sitting there like, for fuck's sake. But this happens a lot with me and Chris. Like, he will connect with a film, and I won't. Like, I can't do it.
Well, remember when we watched like Blade Runner 2049 and we were both in tears, and you were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I just feel like you don't have many emotions, Darcie.
No, this happens a lot on the podcast. Actually, like, I think the word. No, actually, no. There are a lot that I didn't cry to, but I was like, wow. Like, you know, like, is it Roma? That fucking
Roma,
hell, that film. Yeah. Like, you guys have the capacity to cry, whereas I was so, like, beaten up by this movie that I was just like, what else can you do? What else can you do to destroy me? I've had enough.
Like, pissed off by it. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, like I am emotionally exhausted, whereas you guys are like, you still got the fight left in you to cry.
Because I've cried it all out, and now I'm
didn't.
fine. You just bottle it up, and you're like, get on with my day then.
To be fair, I don't think I really said a word for the rest of the night after we got home from watching that, because I was so like, just destroyed.
Yeah, that's like one of those movies though, where you watch it and you literally can't do anything else with your day. You literally like have to go to bed afterwards.
Yeah, like it's just too much. But like this film had like, I don't know, the opposite effect. I was just like, yeah, this film was lovely and wholesome and cool, but it's not. I'm catching Chris cry to it. I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
I feel the same sort of way, but
he caught something I didn't, but I don't know what.
What was it, Chris? What did you catch?
It was a particular scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the scene where the shopkeeper's like talking about his lost love, like talking about how they had this blossoming love, and they like he got this like baron, and she got the like female, like the baron's like love interest, and he was like, I was meant to go back and reunite them, but I never found her again
because of the war.
Yeah, that was what made me cry.
That was nice. It was a nice story. I liked that old man probably the most.
He was really cool,
really great.
Like, you gotta write your story and then show me first, and then she does, and that was like, oh, nice. She did it, and she wrote her story, and I like the ideas of like making something and it's like a bit shit, but then you just like have another go at it.
Yeah,
that kind of like almost got to me. I was like, oh, fuck. When he was like, yeah, it's rough and it's unfinished, but now you can like go out and you can like polish it. It was like the stone that he gave her.
Yeah.
That had like the crystal inside.
Yeah, that was
she
cute.
Like starts crying because she knows she was like, oh, I need to learn more, and like I need to like, go to school and do all these things. It was really nice.
Yeah, because she like spends so much in the movie kind of like writing a story that she wants to do as like, I'll write this and then everything will feel better. And it's like she wrote it and doesn't feel any different, and he's kind of like, you just got to keep polishing it.
Well,
we all know the pain of that as artists.
Yeah, and there's
I just do this one thing and it's going to be awesome, and that will make my life changed, and it never fucking changes.
That is so true. I feel like every movie comes back to that, doesn't it? Like,
that's why you have to keep making art.
Yeah, you got to. It's like what was that bit? You know, like in a Tick Tick Boom, where they're like, then you make another one, and then you make another one, and then you go and make another one.
That's the grind, baby.
Yeah. You just got to keep going until you hit a gold mine.
This movie was about the grind set.
Yeah,
it truly was. Which I thought was, I don't know, like, yeah, in terms of like themes and stuff, I was like, yeah, cool, like, I can get with that. Like, your first thing's never going to be the best thing you ever make.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
It's going to be the worst thing you ever make.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like there's very few people that have made something and then instantly, like, done well from it.
If you do well enough, you'll hate the things you made a year ago.
Yeah, that's what most people are like, isn't they? Because they kind of cringe when they look back at stuff. And they're like, oh God, you actually like this thing that I made? It's fucking awful, or whatever.
But I like that Baron, the cat.
Baron is quite possibly the greatest character
He's
ever.
not a character, really.
He's cool. He's like, I'm a fancy talking cat with a hat top.
Yeah, he was in her imagination.
No, he's real. He's real.
He's not real.
He's real.
He's a statue.
He's real.
He's a statue, and he represents the divide between the couple, the old couple.
He's real. Everyone in the comments and the seagulls will fight for him.
And his eyes, like his eyes, just like stares into his eyes for ages and like sparkle. Oh, that's nice. And there was like a lot of like really nice animation in this one, like really vibrant.
Oh
and,
yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is
when
very
like, she
nice.
looks at like the grandfather clock that the guy's repairing, that's probably my favorite part. Where like all the dwarves are in there, like chiseling away at their like jewels in the cave of the grandfather clock, and then like the king comes out of the clock, and then like the fish or whatever turns into an angel, and it's like, oh, look at that.
I expect nothing less from a Ghibli movie, though. Like, if I'm totally honest,
It was really nice. Yeah.
I expect nothing less than something that at least like
oh yeah,
looks beautiful. Is it? Well, you know,
man-made delights beyond my comprehension. How about that?
Yeah, I feel like from Ghibli movies, especially like Miyazaki movies, because he wrote this movie.
Yeah.
You kind of expect like this level of like mysticism and like fantasy.
Yeah.
And although this movie is like just a straight drama without that sort of stuff, it still kind of is incorporated a little bit. The film kind of does have like almost a dreamlike tone at points. I really love how laid back and chill it is. And I think that's kind of like washes over me. Yeah, there's that shot that's the lo-fi beats to study to.
It is,
yeah. One of the most like famous videos on YouTube.
We found it eventually. Finally, we did it.
Like, I was just thinking back to like that comment I just made about like expecting nothing less, and then I was thinking about that. What's that really ugly film that was last made in the Ghibli franchise? By a son.
Earwig.
Yeah, that one just looks disgusting.
It didn't look good.
And I was just thinking,
looked like Food Fight. That looks really bad.
Maybe they lost the film and they had to redo it Food Fight style. But no, like generally speaking, like I expect nothing less than cool, dreamy, very beautiful,
lovely
animation.
dreamscapes and dazzling animation.
Yeah, you expect nothing
wholesome
less.
storytelling.
Yeah, this one's like the setting's like more suburban than any of their other stuff. It's kind of like set in like the suburban, urban sort of areas of Tokyo or Japan, and there's like a lot of really like great, highly detailed like buildings and landscapes and stuff. There's like a couple of like establishing shots that genuinely look like a picture that they took. There was one bit I remember like really vividly of like the tops of like a bunch of houses, and I was like, oh my god, that actually looks real. It like really threw me off for a second. There's a lot of that in this movie, I think.
Yeah, I guess because quite a lot of it's probably from the years that it's based. It's probably based on like actual photographs and stuff that they probably took of like similar areas or whatever.
Yeah, I think a lot of the areas in the movie are real places.
Because that's, I mean, never worked on a film or done any animation, but I assume like it's quite similar to like when you're making like any kind of design, you have that like reference point, and they must have been like, let's go take some pictures of some lovely suburban areas and see what we can make with this.
Yeah, they do that a lot. I feel like you should do that in any movie you're making.
You can't just make it up. I mean, you could
have something to work from. You know?
It's got to be done, right?
But I do like the kind of wholesome nature of like, especially like with her dad, who I thought was gonna like blow up at her for like quitting school. He was like, well, you just do what you believe in, and not everybody has to be the same. And like, her parents were very understanding about that. I feel like the dad was like very level-headed when he was like, oh, all right, so she's quit school. Come on, then we've got to talk about it. And he doesn't get mad. He's just like, oh, her grades are bad and she doesn't want to go to high school. It's just like, if that's what, like, if this is you want to write your book, then you write your book, and that's what you have to do, because not everybody treads the same path.
Yeah, obviously she doesn't even tell him like why she's doing it. Like, he asks her to explain, and she's like, I can't do that right now, but you'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like places all of his trust in her in that moment.
Which is a hard thing to do, I'm sure, as like a father, because you want your kids to succeed. Like, if they're like, oh, I'm quitting school and I'm not going to tell you why, that's probably quite hard to wrap your head around, I'm sure. But you leap of faith and all that, so he does it, and I think it's the right decision, at least in that case. But I think we've all had parents who are like, or like some parts of our lives where we're like, just trust that I'm doing what I know is right, and like you have to trust that you know what you're doing as well, or like trying to take your life in directions that not everybody's gonna appreciate, or not everybody thinks is like the way to do.
Yeah, because I guess it's like it's your own kind of life, isn't it? So if you, I guess you just got to trust that you're gonna.
That's what I've done my entire life. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I've made a fuck ton of mistakes along the way, but ultimately it worked out.
Yeah, but who doesn't? Because I feel like
if you do what everybody tells you to do, you're ultimately, I feel, going to end up very unfulfilled.
you're just gonna be miserable. And I just like sometimes when you think about like I don't know, like especially us as like creative people, like I do that thing like at least once a week where I sit there and I think, oh fucking hell, I wish I like paid more attention in school. I could be an accountant. I could be on like 6 figures right now or something like that. But then I think, but I'd be fucking miserable. Like forget the fact that I suck at maths. Forget that for a second. We're talking like I could have done something else, but I don't think I would have been happy. So I feel like it comes down to just do whatever is going to make you the happiest. I think at the end of it.
Do what you need to do, not what other people need you to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of what this film kind of is going for. So a lot of it's about kind of how you have to like, almost take a leap of faith, which is something that the old man like talks a lot to her about towards the end. Like you kind of have to take that leap of faith and push yourself out your comfort zone and do something that's scary and kind of trust yourself, otherwise you're not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
like you've got the character of Saiji or whatever it is, however you pronounce
goes
it.
off to Italy or whatever.
Yeah, he goes off to Italy to become a violin maker and goes to like a workshop for 2 months where he apprentices. He's kind of like given an ultimatum where he has to like either do that or go to high school, and he kind of like takes that leap of faith and goes there.
Yeah, because like I don't know about you guys, but I was having a not a similar conversation with Max, but we were talking the other day, and I was saying about like how I want to be someone who at least tries to do something. You know what I mean? Like even if like I don't know, say I'm never going to actually write. Well, I want to write. I want to do. I mean, you know, like okay, say I'm writing a book, right? I kind of am actually, but say I'm writing a book and it's like a crock of shit or whatever. At least I can say, hey, at least I tried to write a book. Like I did a thing. I did something. I mean, this is what I've done.
The whole thing about her writing the book or her story kind of is, you know, if you don't try, then you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, she tries, she writes the book. It's not perfect. It's like very flawed, but now she's actually done it. She can polish it and, you know, do something else.
Exactly. And I just feel like
go to school, pick it up in another 10 years and make it great.
Yeah, like I just feel like there's a lot of things that I think people hold themselves back from doing because they're too scared to kind of be like, oh, but what if? And it's like, yeah, but even if you haven't done it, you're still going to think, oh, what if I did do that thing? Just fucking do the thing and see where you end up.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I connected to this movie so much. I just found it like a really comforting, kind of wholesome experience the whole time, when it wasn't kind of like all about that and like almost reassuring you. It just felt very chill, like you've seen these characters kind of be developed and just live their day-to-day lives as like clumsy as it and awkward as it may be. And I just found all of that just really sweet.
Yeah, I think what made it slightly what I like most is probably like the idea that it wasn't one of those films that like she wrote this book and like instantly like made the best book in the world. But this guy turned around and went, "This ain't the book, but you wrote it and now you can finish it. It could be the book, but this ain't the book.
Not yet."
Yeah, I appreciate that because I think there's nothing like that's one of the cliches of like movies. It's like, they've written the best book ever first time. It doesn't happen like that.
We call it the lemonade mouth syndrome.
Lemonade Mouth. Oh, isn't that Disney film? I've not seen it.
They start a band and they're instantly brilliant.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
And then at the end they play Madison Square Garden.
That's not how it works. This is not how life works.
Yeah, I like all that stuff. I just wish it hadn't taken half the movie to get there. Because it is a lot of like, I guess hanging out.
Yeah, there's a little bit of slugging to get there.
Okay. Just going about it. And then like after that halfway mark, I'm like, okay, I'm getting more into it, but it's just, it takes a while to get there for me.
Yeah, I don't know why it's as long as it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with how long it is, but I think that's just because I love these characters so much. I love the settings, and I was just having a really great time, like spending time in this world. It's like it's not like a massive like fantasy world, like a lot of Ghibli movies. It does feel very real, but there was something about it I just really connected to. It just felt very warm and comforting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very warm movie. I do think like probably one of my criticisms was like who's like the guy Seiji. He's like not there enough. Well, I wish that they would have developed their relationship a bit more. It was like, they knew each other a day or like a week or so, and then he like leaves, and she's like, "Oh man, that sucks." And we've all been there, I guess, but it's like, okay. It's like, I'm in love with him, and it's like, why?
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. It's kind of like
he was there for like a collective amount of time for like, I don't know, 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I just
kind of viewed that as like just being young and stupid.
Yeah,
like having like those feelings for the first time, they're like really overwhelming, and maybe she isn't in love with him, maybe she just has a crush, but she doesn't really understand it, so she thinks she's in love with him, and she thinks about him all the time because like it's the first time she's actually felt that way about someone.
Yeah.
And then he proposes to her.
I was going to say, you can say that about both of them, because he comes back. They're
definitely not going to stay together or get married, but like,
yes, I mean, it's sweet enough if you think about like how young they are, and you're like, oh yeah, of course.
I didn't like the ending. No, I didn't like it.
It's really controversial.
It's very cheesy. Yeah, but I think that was kind of part of the deal.
Yeah, it was intentional
immediately.
Yeah, that was part of the deal, though. It was meant to be cheesy, wasn't it?
Miyazaki said he intentionally wanted a really sappy, cheesy ending because he wanted just something sweet at the end.
You like, I don't know if you're viewing this film from they're just young people, I feel like that is the perfect way to end it. Like, of course, a stupid like 13-year-old would be like, yeah, let's get married someday, and she's like, yeah, cool, and then they never speak again. Like they go somewhere and they never talk ever again.
He said he was going to go back to this like violin workshop, so he was definitely going to go back there and never see her again.
Yeah, that's what
I just felt like it was taking itself like really seriously in that moment.
I felt kind of like the opposite, to be honest. I kind of felt like it was going for that.
Like, wow, how profound! Like, and then like because the credits, like, they just, like, scroll. It's like, oh, yeah. How about that? Sit in that for a minute. Sit in that as the fucking credits go. And I'm like, okay. And you just watch this, like, beautiful sunrise together. And it's like, oh, man, that was lovely. Will you marry me? The end. I was like, oh. I even, like, I probably liked the ending to The Graduate more than this. And that's, like, the exact same ending. But it's just, like, it's done so much better in The Graduate, I think, than in this movie.
Oh, what, that ending? Yeah, but I think that ending was like more accurate,
different, but it's like
the polar opposite ways to end it. Yeah,
it's the same ending done in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the movie. I would probably watch it again at some point. It is quite a chilled out movie and like kind of a hangout movie. I don't know if I would watch it like so soon because it's quite long, but
yeah,
I like it. I think it's very pretty. I like what it says about artistry and artists and like imposter syndrome and like all that stuff about like the guy's like, oh, anyone can do that. He says about like his violins that he made, and it's like, she's just so in awe of it. And it's like, you can not value something in yourself that somebody else just thinks is like brilliant. I like all that about it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like if you have a talent, a lot of people are probably going to look at it and be like amazed by it, whereas you just kind of, it's just normal for you.
Not good enough.
You just look at other people and you're like, oh, they're so much better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a creative trope, though. Like all the people that are like really good at the craft think that they're shit at the craft, and it's quite annoying because you're like, fucking hell, if only you could see it the way other people saw it, but then you don't want too cocky, you know what I mean? Like, there's a fine line. You should know that you're good at something without having to be a dick about it.
Yeah, like how Miyazaki was probably like, you know what, let's put like my other movies in here also. Like on the clock face it says Porco Rosso. It's like a book in the library that says Totoro on it. Like, oh, okay.
He has references to his other movies in like every film, to be fair.
Nice, thanks Miyazaki.
Yeah, he's just one of those cool guys.
And Kondo, he's cool. Yeah.
It's the director's only movie.
Oh, that's fucked
pretty
up.
crazy. He was like, I think he worked as an animator, and like Miyazaki and one of the other guys who's like big at Ghibli kind of viewed this guy as he was going to be like the big successor who was going to take over because Miyazaki wanted to retire. Then he did this and died a couple of years later, so didn't get to do anything else.
And Miyazaki was like, I guess I'll just make the best movie ever instead.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Thanks. We'll do this one out of Barons.
I was going to say Concrete Roads, but
No,
Barons it is.
he was there.
And
Yeah.
he is cool.
Yeah, he had some cool daydream sequences of them like flying around, like all these clouds and shit. So cool.
Could have been a bit cheesy. He was like, I hope he doesn't talk, and then he did it. I was like, oh no.
I
Oh,
didn't,
what the
That
Baron?
would have been like awful if it was in like English. You were like, oh no. Kevin Hart doing the fucking Baron voice.
I think
oh,
in
man.
the English dub it's Carrie Ells.
Oh, there we go.
I didn't know what to expect from this movie because like all the like promotional material, like it just shows pictures of like that Baron daydream sequence. So I just kind of expected it to be a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed by what they were going for. Obviously, so much so I watched it twice within a few days. Didn't really feel like I was paying too much attention the first time, so I was like, I gotta give it like proper attention because I got a lot out of it the first time and knew I would the second time. And yeah, this is like up there as one of my favorite Ghibli movies now. I really, really love it. I give it like 10 Barons out of 10. I think it's basically perfect.
God damn. Nice. Glad to hear it. I liked it a lot too. It was sweltering. It was very hot. But I got through it. And I quite liked the music as well. Although it could be a bit overpowering at times. It felt like Coraline Light. If that means anything to anyone.
Yeah. There's like this really cool bit where it's like she's angry at Soichi for doing this shit, and like there's like this weird electronic music playing that's like has this like robot voice saying "Concrete Roads."
Yeah,
I really like that.
That was fun. Yeah.
So every time someone says, I'm just seething in the
Concrete
teeth.
Roads. I'll give it 6 Barons out of 10.
I just don't really know what to say. I feel like I've said kind of like most of my piece on like what I didn't like about it and why I kind of prefer it watching the second time round. I mean, I don't think I'm going to watch it again purely I just don't feel like, you know, that connection just to watch it again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give
You've done
it 6 Barons out of 10.
Cool. Sick.
Yeah. And then because Max chose this movie, I chose its follow-up sequel, The Cat Returns, from 2002, directed by someone else. Supposedly, but it's actually... I mean, I like this movie a lot, but it's not one of my favourite movies. I'll get to that in a minute, but like, this film wasn't directed by the same person. It was directed by
Not because he died.
Hiroyuki Morita. And it's just, in the sequel, there's like a schoolgirl called Haru who saves the life of just like this cat and thinks nothing of it. And then the cat comes as like a messenger and comes, oh, the Cat King wants to give you a reward. He wants you to marry his son or whatever. And then they kidnap her and take her to the land of cats.
Yes.
Yeah, that is pretty much the whole premise. They kidnap this girl and take her to the land of cats.
Yeah, Kingdom of Cats.
Yes.
Go there. Cats ensue. Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite movies, but not really. I feel the same way as you do, Darcie.
Right, so, okay. So, for a little bit of context for anybody who doesn't have
Darcie's bamboozled
Letterboxd,
us for years.
Right, so for anyone who doesn't have Letterboxd, because it is a app for the movie watchers,
The nerds.
Yeah, very nerdy. There's like a favourites bit on your profile, and The Cat Returns is on mine. Actually, every film on here I really, really like, but I
none of them are
don't
your
think
favourite.
any of them are actually my favourite movie. Forrest Gump is the exception. Me and Chris were talking about how that film's like one of the, well, I was saying it's like one of the best films ever made, ever.
Right.
So that's probably the only one on this actual list that I would say is like my favourite. But even then, is it my favourite? I don't know, because I've seen a lot of movies since we made this letterboxed. So it's about time I probably changed them. But I don't know what my favourite movie is, because I'm... For someone who is on a movie podcast, I don't have very strong opinions about what movies I actually like or love. So it's quite difficult for me to say.
Fine.
But yeah, that's basically it. It's on my list of favourites, but it's not actually my favourite.
Yeah.
That's the context.
It's okay. I don't feel like it needed to be like a sequel.
It didn't need to exist. Oh, what do you mean, like as a sequel to this film? Yeah.
Not like it didn't need to exist, but like it didn't need to be a sequel to Whisper of the Heart.
No.
Because it has like nothing in common with
It's
that
not
movie,
really
really.
a sequel. It's more like a spin-off.
Yeah, it's. I think. Wasn't it just made because of how popular the Baron was? Like everyone liked him as a character, so they went, give him his movie.
Originally, when it was in development, it was going to be a straight-to-DVD movie, and then I think Miyazaki was really impressed by like the new characters and stuff that they'd created, so he was like, "Nah, let's do this as a theatrical one." But it does really feel like a straight-to-video film. It feels a lot cheaper than a normal Ghibli movie. Like the animation's nowhere near as good as usual. Everything just looks a lot cheaper and
that's what
almost
hit me
rushed.
at first. I was like, "Oh, what? What's going on here?" And then it looked like so much worse in quality. Not that it looks like awful.
No, it doesn't.
But it doesn't.
No,
look, it
yeah,
doesn't
it's
even look bad. Honestly,
it's not the
It's
normal
like the
Ghibli.
drop-off from like Whisper of the Heart to this. It's like, wow.
Yeah, like it's
very noticeable.
It's really weird because there's like there are a couple of films in the whole like Ghibli franchise which are like different in animation styles and it looks really weird. Like I think the one I'm thinking about right now is what's that film called? Like My Neighbours something.
The Armadas.
Yeah, that one where it's like it looks almost like a
Very
fucking Flintstones kind of thing, rather than Flintones.
I almost picked that, but you guys also picked Ghibli movies, and I was like, nah, I can't do that.
Oh, that's not true, is it?
Yeah, no, because I only picked mine because Max picked his.
I didn't know mine was a Ghibli movie.
I wasn't going to pick a Ghibli movie originally.
I was like, this one because Darcie hates it.
Yeah, and then I picked this one because I went, oh, that's a sequel, so why not?
So you could have picked something that wasn't a Ghibli movie. You was bandwagoning at that point.
Yeah, we weren't going on like the...
Because me and Chris, we had a discussion before. We were like, who's going to pick Akira? Well, if you pick Akira, I'll pick Ghost in the Shell. Oh, well, if you pick Ghost in the Shell, I'll pick Akira. And then none of us picked either of those movies.
Save them for the next anime one.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but yeah.
I kind of hope it doesn't, to be honest. And I don't think I would have said that about 5 years ago, but now I'm like... It was been a bit of a rough week, to be honest. I'm not sure I want to go for it again.
I mean, I liked when the cat showed up.
Which one?
I don't know, just cats. Every time I saw a cat, I was like, "Oh, what a cat!" Or when they started walking on their hind legs,
me.
They started like walking on their hind legs, and they were doing that parade, and like the cats were holding their lanterns. I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome!" They were like, holding up the cat king like on his little chair. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." That's about as far as I got with like thinking that was cool.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it it's quite babyish. It's like a movie for babies. Like the kids can be like, yeah, it's a kitty.
Yeah, I do feel like it's not because it doesn't have the same sort of like emotional depth like the film before it had. Yeah, it's just kind of like. I mean, it was cool because one of my favourite bits of that film is like where they're coming back down to the normal Earth or whatever, and she's like climbing on these like ravens.
Oh yeah, the crows.
Yeah, that's like one of my favourite bits. But like, cool. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like it doesn't have it's not of the same sort of spectrum, is it? To be honest,
no.
But because it's only just over an hour, I feel like it is kind of one of those films that's like, oh, we made this because the Baron's cool. Here, enjoy this
There you go.
thing that we made.
The cat from Whisper of the Heart returns, and Darcie kept saying, "It's not the same cat."
It's not the same cat, right?
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, that's supposed to be like.
That's meant to be Muta.
It's meant
Muta's
to be
meant to be the same cat. It's
yeah.
not
It
the same
doesn't look
fucking.
like him.
No, it's
Doesn't
not
look-
the
doesn't
same
look
cat.
like him.
Just the only thing is like it's like greyish, and it's got like the patch over one of his ears.
Oh, I was so
That's it.
angry. So because when we were watching it the other day, I haven't seen Whisper of the Heart in like well over like 4 years or something, right? So I watched it and I thought, it's like in my head I was like, is that meant to be the cat from the next movie? And then when I saw the cat from the next movie, I was like, that's not the same fucking cat.
Oh, why do you need to do that?
I refuse to believe it's the same cat. Like, why don't you just make it look the same if it's going to be the same cat?
Or just do another cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it a separate thing entirely.
Just do other cats that we don't know.
That's one thing that really, really annoyed me because it's not even the fact that they did it, but it was like it didn't need to be done, or just make it more accurate to what it was.
Why is it called The Cat Returns? Is it like, here's Baron and he was in another movie?
Yeah,
and
I guess
the cat
so.
who's returning.
Yeah, like supposedly you are meant to watch them one after the other, but you don't.
I mean,
Like,
luckily I did,
I watched
but-
this film like first, so when I watched
I
Whisper of the
went
Heart, I
through
was like, oh, is this the same? Like, is this meant to be the same thing?
I went through a whole like phase of like watching only anime movies for ages. And if I had watched like even just one of these movies like out of context, I would never have known.
No, I only knew because it's something to do with the way that, you know, when you collect the movies,
Yes.
it's something to do with the way that you're like, obviously like they're meant to watch them, or like the order that they actually go in or whatever. And I was like, is this the same
Yeah, the
fucking
Ghibli
shit?
releases in the UK are so weird because they're all numbered, but they're not in release order. They're just like a random order.
Yeah,
it seems.
they're in. It's really fucking weird because I was collecting them for a little bit, and then I got pissed off because you're meant to watch them in a certain order, but they're not in the right order in which the DVDs come
I
out.
wish they were,
So
like,
it's just
they're in order of when they come out on like DVD or Blu-ray, but like they haven't released them in like release order.
Yeah. So like, I think one of the first ones is like, I think it's like one of the Totoro movies or something.
Yeah, I
right?
think Totoro is number 1, and then there's Howl's Moving Castle was 1.
Yeah, and
Then,
then think about like
then it's
Howl's
like
Moving Castle
Totoro.
came out in like 2004 or something.
Yeah, Spirited Away is like 11. It's
Yeah,
like
and
doesn't
like
make any sense.
Totoro came out in like 89 or something. So like none of them match up or make any sense. So like I got to the point where I think I had about 6 or 7 of them, and I went, I'm just gonna stop collecting these because this is just annoying me. Like I feel like if it's annoying me, it must annoy like avid like movie collectors more, because I feel like that is something to be really annoyed
Yeah,
about.
it annoys me because I've got the Ghibli movies under G in like alphabetical order, and I want to have them in like release order, but I can't because they're numbered.
Yeah, because all the numbers are going to be in the wrong order. It's fucked. It's just weird. I don't understand the need for it, to be honest. Like if you're going to release them, just maybe not number them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, the cat returns.
Well, yeah. It was okay.
Yeah.
I don't really get anything out of it, to be honest.
No,
I found
not
it quite
really.
boring.
I thought it would have like, I thought it would at least have like a through line and be like, here's a lesson for your kids.
Yeah.
But it was
they
like, I don't know,
didn't-
don't go into the cat kingdom
Yeah.
because you'll turn into a cat.
Yeah,
Doesn't really seem
don't
like it's
marry the
saying
stray
anything.
cat.
That was annoying. And that's like when it finished, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was actually like really into it until they went to the cat kingdom, and I kind of started to lose interest. But I
That
do
was when
think
I
the
started
cat
to gain interest.
I do think the cat kingdom looks cool. I like the designs of
It
it. I
is
like all
cool.
the shit they were doing with the different cats.
Yeah, it looks
But,
cool.
like,
It was like, as soon as that, like they go to the cat kingdom, shit just goes off the rails, and they're like, well,
Yeah, it
what
goes-
the fuck is going on? She turns into a cat. Her friend Muta like
Gets
goes
stuck
into
in jelly.
goes into a jelly and fucking dies.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, he's dead. Wheel the corpse into the dining room or whatever. We're gonna like feast on his corpse. It's like,
Yeah, I
oh,
liked
okay,
that.
what the fuck is going on here?
But then after that, it was like, then it starts going, like, following some story. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
really
Well,
care.
Yeah, because I think, like, I don't know, like, yeah, there's not much of a story in that cat kingdom until he gets to the bit where it's like, oh, he's proposed to this other cat. Maybe you should marry me instead. And she's like, I don't even want to marry this other cat. Like, what makes you think I'm going to want to marry the scraggly little cat king or whatever?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after that, it's just kind of like the
Right.
Baron being like, you shall not pass her. Da 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 da.
As soon as
So
they
that was
said,
shit.
like, they were like, you will marry the cat crown prince. She was like, I don't want to do that.
And they're like,
and they're like, well,
yeah.
no, this is the line that fucking got me, that convinced her to do it. The cat goes, oh, he's not only a cat, he's cool. And she was like, oh. All right, then. I guess I will. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that,
what a line.
just, yeah, the film's just
I'm
like,
convinced.
yeah, it's just rooted in
I
like
didn't know he was cool.
random shit. Like, oh, we heard you don't like catnip or mice, so we made you a fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was just so many stupid things in this film.
Wouldn't she like doesn't ask any questions? She like saves the cat prince, and then all the cats are like, "We will do you homage," and then like they come to her in the middle of the night, and then they're like, "You will gain unlimited happiness. It shall be yours." And she doesn't ask any questions. She's like, "All right, cheers," and she goes back to bed. Like, wouldn't you ask a single question? Be like, "You're cats. How can you give me eternal happiness? Like, what does that mean? And
Yeah,
what does unlimited happiness take the form of? Just a bunch of like hockey rackets and like mice."
Yeah, like I think it was like it's just one of those like weird things where I feel like maybe she just thought she was like having some sort of fever dream. She was like, yeah, the cats are gonna send me
I
happiness.
thought there was
All
going to be a
right.
twist at the end where it turns out the whole film was like she was in a coma. She got hit by that truck.
Like
That is
a
such
real Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Because
No,
it kind of is going for like that sort of Alice in Wonderland sort of surrealist sort of thing.
Now that gives
Yeah.
me like lazy writer vibes, like Dallas, like, oh, it was all a dream. It's
Yeah.
like the laziest fucking thing you can do.
Alice in Wonderland is the only movie I'll take that from, and Inception.
Yeah, but I think,
That's it.
doesn't someone have to set the precedent, you know? Someone has
Yeah.
to do it first,
Yeah.
so that when it's copied, it's
rest are
like,
just
you're
like
being lazy, don't
Yeah.
do what they did.
I don't know. I do like all that stuff in like the ballrooms type stuff when they're like being entertained. Like they don't even care that like she's being turned into a cat. She's like sobbing. She's like, I can't believe I'm a cat now. And they're like, "Quit, more music, make her happy." Just like, somebody entertain this girl. She's too sad. And it's just like a bunch of like weird shit that happens. Like there's the cat who like was on like the board and they like threw knives at her, but they were actually squid. And then her bra pops off, and like every cat that like displeased like made her cry, still made her cry. They were like, chuck this cat out of the window, and then they just chuck cats out of the window and they die. It's like, wait, what the fuck?
Sure, I feel like for people that haven't watched this film, like the way we're describing it, it sounds like we're just making up a film
Yeah.
on the spot. But like, it's like legit, like that bit where the cat opens up like this proposal of love or whatever, and it's just like fish cookies.
Yeah, but that made sense.
Oh no, I like that bit, but it was just, I don't know, it's just like the most random thing where it's like, why? How did he know that she was that cat that had the like
'Cause
had
he's
the fish
cool.
cookies? Oh, he's
'Cause they
he's
had
God, you see.
pre-established
He's cat
He's
God.
he's not only a cat, he's cool. So of course he knew about the fish cookies that she gave his bride back when she was a stray kitten.
Yeah, like it's,
Because he's cool. I knew.
he's
Yeah.
God. He's the cat God.
But I was thinking, why does this need to be a movie about cats? It like kind of devolves into like a generic type of samey story that we've seen in like those medieval stories that we often see depicted on the big screen.
Maybe, yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
alright.
yeah. I guess maybe they just made it about cats because they
Like
wanted
Wizard of
something
Oz.
with the Baron in
Yeah.
it. But like, the Baron was in the other movie, and there was like no other cats in that. So
You want to do Wizard
Why?
of Oz but cats? What if Wizard of Oz was like cats?
yeah, that's kind of basically what it is, isn't it? But not as
Yeah. Cats can't hold swords.
They
Why
don't-
do they have a
don't
sword fight at the
thumbs,
end?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, what are you doing?
But then they're
Oh,
all
yeah.
talking and eating jelly and. Well, actually, they
Bras
can't do
popping
eat
off,
jelly. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's there's not like a ton to this movie because
No.
like one, it's really short, and two, we've just described the whole plot. Like that's pretty much
Yeah.
everything we just described. Is
They're like trying to
That's what's
escape through
happening,
that
so-
maze, and it's like it takes
Yeah.
forever because like they need to pad out the runtime. It felt a lot
Yeah,
longer than it needed to be.
yeah, I don't
it's
know
only
why
like
they need to do that.
75 minutes or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know why.
insane.
I don't know why they felt the need to, add in all this extra stuff just to make it longer.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Could have been a
Right.
short story.
They could have made it like
Would've
a
been fine.
40-minute movie.
No, they could have just made it
or
like a children's book.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was
It
a
is a
children's,
children's book.
Yeah.
Well, there we fucking go.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both based on books.
That's what it works best as.
I just don't know.
You could see where like the walls were definitely moving, like before they did, because like the layer was like more vivid from like the where the wall had shifted up against like the outer layer. I don't know how these fucking works, but like
Are you talking about the
animation, like when
animation?
they were in
Okay.
the when they were in the maze, you see like everything looks the same, but then like, there's this one section of wall that just looks completely different, and of course that's the part that's fake.
I think that. I mean, I could be wrong because once again, I've never done animation, but maybe that comes down to if you're doing something frame by frame, it'd be easier to copy each frame and then
Mhm.
just take out the part
Yeah.
that you want to change. So that's
And you could say it
probably
was
why.
like intentional because it was a fake wall, but at the same time, I felt like we were supposed to know that it was fake when the characters found out it was fake and not before.
Yeah, that could be just down to the fact that they just copied each frame
Yeah.
and then changed it, but then use the same color or something. Maybe I don't know. Whatever.
Did you like out like all the insinuation to like bestiality in the movie, or like she was definitely falling in love
Yeah.
with the Baron? Or,
Yeah,
like,
this.
they're like, you will marry this like our prince
Mm.
and all that, and then she was like, I guess I'm kind of warming to the idea actually, and like she was like, oh okay, I guess if
Mm.
he's cool, like I will marry him, and that's fine. But then like at the end, like she gets saved by the Baron, and then she's like, oh Baron, I have a crush on you.
Yeah, it's,
Like, wow, really? And he's like, I like your honesty, Haru, and then he leaves.
I wonder how
What a
many people
swerve.
had their fairy awakening watching this movie.
I did.
I think
Nice.
one of Chris's notes was just furry movie.
Yeah.
It's a furry movie.
I also had a note that just said
Yeah.
cat.
Oh yeah, he wrote cat because I just kept going. Oh look, the cat.
Yeah. Probably I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like a great movie to watch if you like cats, but I feel like they could have done more with like the cat mannerisms, but like a
Yeah.
lot of the time they just like stood up and they had like people. You know, they could have been more catty.
Yeah, I mean, if you love cats, I guess there's some like visual fun things to be like, oh look, a cat.
Mhm.
But I
I
mean,
don't know. I'm quite the cat lover, but
you definitely are.
it's just like hour and 15 minutes. You're just like, okay, they're just like cats acting like people.
yeah.
Could have animated them as people and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to be cats, but I just think it's because the Baron was there. That's the only
Yeah.
thing I can think of. They were like, oh, let's make this kids thing really kiddie and put more cats in it,
Yeah.
which is, yeah,
It's a
if it's
shame,
if
'cause,
it's a
like,
kids book, it's
A lot
fine,
of
isn't it?
a lot of Ghibli movies are like for children. Like look at Totoro, but that's like a
Yeah.
great movie still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I felt like that had more to say though. I feel
Yeah.
like, whereas this one
That's
was
the
just
thing,
kind of
yeah.
like,
When I look at, like, these
it doesn't
Ghibli
have a lot
movies,
to say.
They all have something to say, and when this one ended, that's why I was like so shocked by it. I was like,
Mm.
I just like it didn't really say anything
I feel
because
like
that's what I expect from it.
yeah, it could have been made by anyone other than them,
Yeah.
and I felt like it wouldn't have been as like. I'm not going to say disappointing, but like, yeah, if you put this on and go, oh yeah, it's a Ghibli movie, it's gonna be like
Mhm.
da da da,
You have
and
an
then you're like,
expectation for
oh,
it, sure.
yeah, you get that preconceived idea, and then you don't.
These guys
get
make
it.
great movies.
I mean, it's not even a bad movie, but yeah, if we're going to
Mhm.
compare it to something like Howl's Moving Castle or something, you're not going to have the same sort of fun,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, Ponyo.
Fuck Ponyo. Fuck that film. It's not even a terrible film. It just is. That's
Mid.
another one of those films that could have been made
Yeah.
by someone else, and
Just
I would have
mid,
been like,
innit?
okay, yeah, mid. Mid is
This
the
one,
word.
that one's mid. This one's
yeah,
mid. Yeah.
you are going to have some like mid hitters, I think.
Yeah, of course.
They've been around for quite a long time now, like got Greta and the
Yeah,
earwigs
yeah.
or whatever. That film's probably going to be
Whatever.
below mid. So.
Greta Thunberg and the
Is it-
earwig. Yeah.
I don't even know what it's called. I just
Doing
made
anime
that up.
about her.
Is it
Yeah.
Greta? I don't even know.
I don't know. Whatever.
Gertrude. I don't fucking care. Either way.
Wish we'd like picked something that was like really great or like really awful, but a
Oh,
lot of
this-
these are like bordering on the same kind of thing. for
Yeah,
me.
I think all of these are quite mid-ish, which is kind of
Yeah.
why I feel like, you know me, guys. I think there's nothing worse in a movie than something
Mhm.
that is either not great or is either like not terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but
something
then I
that
don't know,
something
like,
that is mid. Just
If we had picked something like fantastic, like who's did like, yeah, of course. Like if we had picked Akira and we were like, oh, this movie's so great, it's like, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Whisper in the Heart.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, but you know, I mean, it's kind
For
of
me,
like
though, I think.
yeah. I think it's been one of those weeks where like
Mhm.
I think maybe I kind of wish that maybe we had picked different films instead. But you don't know until you pick a film and you watch
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
part of the
don't regret
podcast
it.
experience. You know?
I don't regret it.
No,
at
there's
all.
no need to regret, my man. There's
I
no
had
need.
my fun.
Yeah, we've done it
know?
now. It's over. Should we rate this so
yeah,
we
let's
can
rate it.
let's rate it out of Oh no, we can't rate.
Well, we already
You-
did it. Mm.
All right, let's rate out of Mutars.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like probably one of my least favorite Ghibli movies, to be honest. But to be fair, that does say quite a lot because I don't even think it's a terrible movie. I don't think it's a bad movie.
That's what I mean. There's just so
It's
many
just-
good ones.
Yeah, I just didn't really find it that interesting. The animation's not amazing, but it's all right. That's kind of how I feel about the whole thing. So I give it like 5 meters out of 10.
It kind of reminds me of when Disney were doing like the sequels of like Hunchback of Notre Dame and stuff
yeah.
like. Yeah, and they had like their
It just
little
looks worse.
other team on the side.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. To
I mean,
me.
I think this is better than what they were doing, but it's
Mhm.
still not great.
Well, yeah. I mean, could have told you that for nothing, but
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as Ponyo, but it's not the best. I will also give it 5 Mutars out of 10.
wow, fuck Ponyo.
Ponyo sucks, man. Like,
6 Mutars out of 10.
Yeah, I don't remember Ponyo at all, but I
No.
remember not liking
The
it.
only thing I liked about
Baby
Ponyo
movie.
was how cute the fish was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was about it.
It was the first Ghibli movie I watched. Put me off watching them for years.
No wonder. If that's the first one you
No.
ever. I remember watching it one Christmas, and I was like, my love for this franchise is dead. And then I watched something else, but I can't remember what, and I was like, oh god, this is great. I think it was something like I don't even like The Wind Rises that much, but it was
I love that movie.
it was enough to get me to go, yeah, I like these movies again. This is cool.
Yeah, I think I watched Ponyo, and then years later I watched Totoro, and I was like, oh, this is actually good. And then I got into
Totoro is one
them.
of it's one of those films that's like been so ingrained in like Western society that you see a Totoro thing and you go, oh yeah,
You know Totoro
I
before
love-
you see Totoro.
yeah. I love the Ghibli movies. Like I've got this like no face hybrid thing on the back of my arm, and someone went,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck is that? And then I told them, I went, oh, I don't watch those weeaboo movies.
That's fair.
And I was like, oh, okay. and then I went to the Lidl just up the road or whatever when we were making that curry or whatever. And this girl had like a GG tattoo, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I love that Kiki's Delivery Service is a great film.
That's one of my
Also,
favourites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
film's
a good
so.
one.
I wish I kind of picked that one now because I love that film.
I'd watch that again. I feel like it'll go up to like a 10 next time I watch it.
Yeah, that
I
film.
watched it like twice.
It's
now.
amazing. I watched it once in English though because it was on Film 4 once, and my mum wanted to watch it, and I was like, "Oh, this is so painful because it's in English," and I felt like such a those like pretentious people that are like, "Oh no, God forbid, I do," and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, "I can't watch this."
I've
It
watched
was
Spirited
horrible.
Away in English a few times. That actually holds up pretty well.
That and Howl's Moving Castle, not the worst. That's
Yeah,
actually
they're good.
okay, but I'd rather
But not as good.
yeah, I'd rather not watch them in English if I don't have to. But yeah, if they're on like TV or something, and God forbid the British public have to watch something in English, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch it, but I don't enjoy it half as much.
You mean in Japanese?
No, I mean, yeah, because the British people won't watch something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of those good Ghibli movies or like the Japanese animes, you know. I did like a whole stint like back in the day. Nausicaa's a good one. Nausicaa and the Valley of
Yeah.
the Wind. The Valley of
Oh,
the
I
Wind.
know.
That was really good.
What's that one that? The one I really don't like is it Laputa Castle in the Sky?
Castle in the Sky.
I
Yeah,
fucking hate
that
that
was
film.
I
Ugh.
like that movie. That was okay.
Nah.
That was pretty good.
Princess Mononoke is one of the greatest films ever.
Princess
That's good.
Mononoke is, yeah, one of the best films.
but it's a bit too long. Like I've watched it like twice, and I can't. I love it,
Yeah.
but I can't watch it. It's just too long. I'm like,
quite a lot, but I
I'm
think
just
it's.
fed up now.
I feel like it has. It can be that long.
Yeah,
It's allowed to
yeah,
be.
it has purpose. Like it doesn't. it's not a
Feel
film
weird
that's
if it was an hour and a half.
yeah, like it's not a film that feels that well.
It's trying to tell
it
an
does,
epic
but-
story.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, like what's the point? It justifies its runtime,
Yeah.
but for someone who can't fucking hack watching movies, it's not the one. You know, I
No,
understand it,
yeah.
but I wish it hadn't.
Yeah, I think Miyazaki's pretty consistent. I've seen all of his movies now, and I don't love them all, but like, there's not a single one where I've watched it and didn't think there was like something
there, yeah.
actually worthwhile there.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
that Grave of the Fireflies. That's
Yeah.
that.
It's not Miyazaki,
do you know
but-
what? But that
It's
is.
Ghibli though.
I think that's one of the. I don't know. I think that's one of the films where I cried from like pretty much start to finish.
Yeah.
Because
I have to
when
watch
you've seen
that
it
again at
once,
some point.
yeah.
I feel like everybody loves it, and I was just like, that was okay.
Oh no, like I don't remember when we last. I remember last watching it with Chris, and I said I don't think I can watch this movie. And then about I don't know, like 40 minutes into it, I don't think I stopped crying. Like there's very few films where I'll like I don't know, I'll start crying and then I just don't stop. But this film is so depressing. Like I just feel bad every time I watch it, and I'm like, oh god, here I go again. So I refuse to watch it because it just kills me. I just can't do it. People that watch movies just to like make themselves upset just fucking weird me out. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
I love doing that.
yeah, I know Chris does it. As well. I don't get it. Like, I
It's
don't
because we can't feel anything without.
I don't need it. I'm already there.
Who knows when the last time I cried without watching a movie was? I don't know. It's been decades.
See, this is why I don't need movies, because I can piss myself off all on my own.
Cool.
You got a wheel? I can see the wheel in
Got
his
a wheel.
glasses, like his reflection. Like.
Yeah, we got a wheel to spin that'll tell us what we're going to watch in the next episode
Yeah.
that I think we're doing together.
Yeah.
Cool. What's it going to be? It's something cool, I hope. Something cool like that cat print.
Let's come up with Steven Spielberg movies.
Yeah, okay.
Happy to do that?
I'm happy to do that. It came up before, but I said no. So I feel like I have to give it to him.
Okay.
We're going to do 3 Steven Spielberg movies. Look in the description to find out what those are.
We're going to watch Ready Player One 3 times.
No. We have social media. YouTube is the Sunday Movie Marathon. Twitter is at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook is at Sunday Movie Marathon. And Letterboxd is at Sunday MM, capital S, capital MM. Remember to like, subscribe, and rate the podcast on Spotify.
And hit
5
that
stars.
bell.
Hit the bell for more notifications and wacky posts from the SMM gang. Any last words?
Ponyo.
Is
A movie.
okay.
See you next time.
Oh no, it's raining!
Hey, I know. I'll use my trusty frying pan as a drying pan.